Given the fact that we almost live in interdependence as far as global trends are concerned, there is certainly a lot of apprehension and I would say also worry as US and China are engaged in a trade war. We are seeing the tariff at a whopping over 100%, and certainly both the sides don't seem to be relenting. This of course has had an impact as far as the Chinese as well as American currency and the trade ties are concerned. But how can India not be affected? Therefore, what sources in the finance ministry and government tell me that the entire situation is being watched very, very carefully. However, economic experts as well as government sources point out that we really don't have much of a reason to be worried about. In fact, the situation is such that there can always be found a silver lining as far as the dark clouds are concerned. What sources also point out that this is actually something which can help us and help eventually our currency to get more robust and stronger. First of all, yes, there is going to be an immediate impact on Indian currency, but we're not going to be very deeply affected as say America would be. A bulk of American imports comes in from China, whereas there has been a huge trade deficit between China and India because of multiple reasons. But one of the biggest reasons is the fact that many of the Indian products are facing tough competition from China, and that is why we have been working overtime to ensure that we build up a shelter or a kind of resistance or wall against Chinese imports which were trying to flood into our markets. But more than that, India is also trying to build up a counter and move beyond so that we can provide tough competition to the Chinese products as well. And that is one reason why it is felt that this kind of a trade war or the currency battle between US and China is unlikely to affect us anytime soon. What economic experts and government sources also point out is that we can take advantage of it purely for the fact that we don't depend on China as far as the imports and exports are concerned. So this is how we are going to be protected. Our currency's strength is something which is based on what happens in say America, what happens in Japan and also in UK, not so much on China. Initially, if it weakens the rupee, then sources tell me that they are ready to accept it because that's going to be a part of the strategy. But as over time, India sets up a tough competition to China's trade market, also provide alternatives to other countries who have deeply depended on China. This is one thing where we don't have to be worried about. And therefore, not what government sources and economic experts clearly point out that this is a situation where India can actually take advantage of, and this could have a deep impact not just on our currency but also on our trade equations and market as well.